Hey guys, just stepping in here for a little bit of a Fusion tip and trick kind of a video here. We found some people were kind of curious how we did a thing we did in Fusion, so I decided I'd do a short little video here talking about how we got motion in a render. So, as you can see here, this is a video that Fusion output, and we put this into a GIF and we were sending it around. And a lot of people were like, hey yo, how you do that? So we're going to cover it here today. So this is our motion model for Snowball. If you're not familiar, this is May's little robot buddy from Overwatch. And we are building a fully animatronic Snowball. We're doing that on our Twitch stream at every Sunday from 5 to 7. From 2 to 5, sorry. And that's Central Standard Time. Every Sunday we're working on this guy. Now we've added some motion. So we finished up our exterior design here. We've started adding the internal components and working that out. So one of the things we did in the pursuit of that was to create a motion study. Now, we've had a little bit of trouble with the servos, so they don't really move here, but it does give you an idea of what's going to happen. So this is just in the regular render environment, and we're doing a motion study. So as, you know, this little cylinder goes in and out, we've just got a revolve and a slide, and they're connected to each other in this motion study. So that is the motion we're showing off. So let's go ahead and get that out. Now, if we step into the animation environment, we could do a bunch of changes, we could move stuff, we could do a bunch of stuff. But if we did publish that, it would look like this. Now, this isn't terrible. This is good enough to show off some stuff. And we may have to use this later, especially if we do an exploded view or something of the little bot guy here to show off all the internals. So that's not really great. As you can see in that other video, even though it was low res, it does kind of pop a little bit to have it fully rendered. So let's go to the render environment. As you can see down here, once they load, we'll have 2 or 3 renders down here. This is our little bot again, and we've got him configured, and so we've already done these renders. Now this is the final render we did, but let's look at this one here. Once you finish a render, so you have to render it. So you set up your shot, you do all your stuff, and then you render it. You'll get something like this, and this is the first one we did. Now, normally, you'll have this little button up here, which is called which says turntable on it. Now, if you do that, you'll get something like this. Now, this is what we did with that function, but I'm not 100% happy with it. There's a couple problems. The big one is it's a little bit jerky in its motion, and it isn't real smooth and nice. So we did cheat in the quest to figure out that. We did go in and kind of cheat up a little bit to figure out how to do it, and what we figured out was that putting a cylinder in the center of the piece and then rotating around the entire rigid, making it all one rigid group and making it rotate around that ended up working. So but we'd already sent this around as is, so there was no need to go do anything else. But we now have this more advanced function in here, and because we have a motion study, and this is part of the problem that I don't think a lot of people know this exists, because a lot of people don't just randomly put motion studies into their designs. This button only ever shows up if there is a motion study in the design. So let's click on that and see what happens. So now we get this dialog box, and as you can see, there's a cloud limit issue. I don't know how to change that. I've tried. I can't find even how many cloud credits we have. I don't know. My whole profile's either messed up or something. I don't know. I've been digging around trying to figure it out, clicking on links that talk about cloud credits, and they just go to something else. So, I don't know. It's a mess, but we're not going to mess with it. But if we do drop to 800 by 600, which is pretty low, but it's feasible, and we can't use standard. We have to use standard. We can't use final. But we can get below our 16 credit limit. If you have a different settings on yours, you might be able to do it different. Now, Motion Study 2 is just up to test the motion, but the Motion Study 3 is the one we want because it's the one that goes up and then back down, so it gives it a nice loop function. So if I hit render, that would go, send it to the cloud, chew on it for a while, and depending on how full the cloud was, it would come back eventually at some point. But that's how you do that to get the render. And then when you're done, this is what you get. So I'll let this load up real quick. This is the video we got rendered out. And as you can see, it's pretty nice. We did crop the video in a little bit, and we did some other stuff, because we were going to convert it into some nice poppy square, GIF to send around. But it looks pretty good right here, and that's how you do the motion. So you can download that right here, download as an MP4, and then you can play with it from there. So that's basically it. That's how you can get that. Now, it is limited. There isn't a lot you can do with a motion study to really make something elaborate. You can't really do animation with this. But you can render a small function. If you want to show something opening, or if you want to kind of show off a new feature that you've put in there, you can just pick a motion study, kind of move it around, and show that off. And like I said, you can even move the entire body by, tricking it to think that there's some sort of motion it should be doing. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's something that interests you. We're going to kind of try to do this occasionally, where we just do a little bit of a Fusion sort of tip and trick video up for the YouTube channel. Now, if you are interested in seeing me do some more streaming and other stuff in Fusion 360, then go ahead and stop by our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/CorSecProps. We stream 3 days a week. We do this project, which is Snowball, every Sunday from 2 to 5 Central Standard Time. We also stream Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9, about usually 10 o'clock, and that's when we work on just 3D printed prop designs or some other stuff occasionally in that feature. Now, we aren't going to be in Fusion for very long when it comes to Snowball here. Once Snowball gets past his design phase, which we're hoping to do here in a couple weeks, we're going to get to be printing out that guy and making him move and do a bunch of other stuff in the real world. So then we're going to switch to some programming. So we're going to cover the whole gambit. We're going to cover as much as possible on the Twitch stream, with other videos and stuff to sort of add to that content. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it helped you over whatever project that you are working on, or give you a nice little function you can kind of wow the guys at the office with when you step into the next board meeting and go, look at what we can do now. So I hope you had fun. Hopefully this was helpful, like I said, and I'll catch you next time.